Hello and welcome to Tech Forum Online. My name is Lily Dwyer. I'm the product manager for sales data and library data here at BookNet Canada, and today I'm going to be talking about what's new in sales data and library data. Before we get started, BookNet Canada acknowledges that its operations are remote and our colleagues contribute their work from the traditional territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Haudenosaunee, the Wyandot, the Mi'kmaq, the Ojibwe of Fort William First Nation, the Three Fires Confederacy of First Nations, which includes the Ojibwe, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi, and the Métis, the original nations and peoples of the lands we now call Beaton, Brampton, Guelph, Halifax, Thunder Bay, Toronto, Vaughan, and Windsor. We encourage you to visit the nativeland.ca website to learn more about the peoples whose land you are joining from today. Moreover, BookNet endorses the calls to action from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada and supports an ongoing shift from gatekeeping to space-making in the book industry. The book industry has long been an industry of gatekeeping. Anyone who works at any stage of the book supply chain carries a responsibility to serve readers by publishing, promoting, and supplying works that represent the wide extent of human experiences and identities and all that complicated intersectionality. We at BookNet are committed to working with our partners in the industry as we move towards a framework that supports space making, which ensures that marginalized creators and professionals all have the opportunity to contribute, work, and lead. In spirit of that acknowledgement, I confirm BookNet's and my own responsibility to mend the sacred hoop with Canada's Indigenous peoples, to be an ally to all Black, Indigenous, and people of color, and to unite and work alongside one another. Sales data and library data are reporting tools that allow retailers, publishers, libraries, and other members of the book industry to access sales, inventory, and circulation data from retailers and libraries across Canada. For more information, you can find us at booknetcanada.ca. So for those of you who are already familiar with sales data and library data and are heavy users of our products, welcome back. We'll be going through an update on what the past year has held for sales data and library data and what we're planning for the future. So on the day I'm recording this, we're not quite at the end of the 2024 fiscal year, but so far our users have run 265,221 reports on the sales data and library data platform. That's over 1,020 reports per business day so far this year. And on a weekly basis, users received 1,284 scheduled reports by using the platform's report automation feature. So that saves users collectively about 42 hours each week. And that adds up to about 2,225 hours each year, or about 63 weeks of full-time work saved for the industry through automated reporting. Or if you're looking to measure that time in a different unit of measure, that's enough time to listen to every single Sarah J. Maas audiobook at least 6 times. Or if you're not taking on a new book series, at least you'll have that time back to keep engaging in the business of selling, publishing, circulating, or connecting readers to books. So where is all the data powering these reports coming from? Well, we added over 30 new reporting retailers this year from coast to coast, bringing our total up to 269. I should also mention that we've had some really great presenters over the last little while here at Tech Forum from retailers, including our recent panel on booksellers adapting, engaging, and thriving in the book industry. So make sure you check that out on our YouTube channel and our blog. To support reporting from our retailer partners, we have integrations built for 9 different point-of-sale systems, and our data processing supports many others not listed here. So we currently support Book Manager, Lightspeed, Nebraska, Raytex, Shopify, Square, VG3000, WordStock, and this year we're very pleased to announce that we're also now supporting WooCommerce. Also at the same time, we're also currently working on a new POS reporting tool to support GiveX. So if your store is supporting WooCommerce or GiveX and you're not currently reporting into sales data, please reach out to us to get started. And if your store is not using these POS systems, don't worry. we would still be happy to discuss reporting options with you. You can drop us a line at salesdata@booknetcanada.ca to get started. Our library data, on the other hand, comes from 80 libraries with over 700 branches across the country. So here are some of them, and we're adding more as time goes on. We're really excited to have so many amazing libraries working with us. We have integrations built for 6 ILS systems with 2 more on the way. So we currently integrate well with Evergreen, Horizon, Infor vSmart, Koha, Polaris, and Symphony. Aside from that, we're also working on reporting with Insignia, and we have a new integration in beta with Sierra. So on that note, if you use Sierra version 5.5 or higher, and if you've been waiting to participate in library data for the Sierra upgrade, please get in touch with us at librarydata@booknetcanada.ca, and we'll work with you to get started on reporting into library data. And also, if your library is not using one of these ILSs, you can reach out to us anyway. We really look forward to working with you and your ILS to get your data on board. Libraries contributing to library data also have their stats counted towards our Lone Stars program, which relies on data provided by libraries across Canada to inform a data-driven list of the top books ordered by Canadian libraries. So for more information on that, please check out my colleague Kalpna's presentation on Lone Stars. The Lone Stars lists are really kind of a fun place to kind of find out what library staff from coast to coast are ordering for their library collections. The team here has also done a ton of research using data provided by our retailer partners. So here are some of the interesting trends that we've seen in sales data over the last year. So I wanted to start by talking about comics and graphic novels. So something that we've noticed in the past is that comics and graphic novels have been steadily increasing in popularity, as was the case in both 2021 and 2022. But 2023, however, proved to be the first year that we can see a significant decline in the subject, with a decrease of about 17% across adult, juvenile, and young adult comics and graphic novels. Romance, however, was a category in which we saw continued growth this year. So this year, this genre has further increased by about 9%, surpassing over 3 million units sold. It's been fun for our team to note the shifts that are taking place within that category. So for instance, contemporary romance was still one of the highest performing subcategories of romance in 2023, with Colleen Hoover, Hannah Grace, Carly Fortune, and Lucy Score dominating the romance charts. And we saw that there was the slightest shift, however, in this category between 2022 and 2023, where contemporary romance actually went down by 5%. As another example, Regency romance was a romance subcategory that we saw trending in past years due to the popularity of the Bridgerton Netflix series. In 2023, however, we saw that this genre has been going down by about 35%. So while subjects like these have gone down, on the flip side, we've seen huge increases in the subcategory of fantasy, which increased by 235% between 2022 and 2023. Speaking of fantasy and romance, perhaps one of the biggest trends that we've noticed over the past year is the booming popularity of romantasy. So if you haven't heard of this genre, The Guardian describes romantasy as a portmanteau of romance and fantasy applied to novels that blend elements of both genres. So these novels are typically set in fantastical worlds with fairies, dragons, magic, but also feature classic romance plotlines like enemies to lovers, soulmates, and love triangles. As a defined genre, it's been around since as early as 2008, but within the last year, it's really taken off with authors like Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros. And much of this boom is due to its popularity on social media platforms like TikTok. And there are also theories that readers are responding to the elements of escapism that romantasy offers. And although there is no specific romantasy BISAC code, there are 3 BISAC codes that we can refer to when looking at romantasy and sales data. So those are romance as a subcategory within the fiction fantasy heading, fantasy as a subcategory within the fiction romance heading, as well as romance within the young adult fantasy heading. And as you can see here, there was significant growth across all three of those subjects in 2023. We also noticed some interesting developments in the world of nonfiction. So cookbooks about alcoholic beverages, for instance, went down by 12% in the last year, while cookbooks about non-alcoholic beverages increased by 40%. So this seems to mirror things we're seeing outside of the book industry, such as the steep rise in the price of alcohol at the end of 2022, as well as the new guidelines for low-risk alcohol use issued by the Canadian Centre on Substance Use and Addiction at the beginning of 2023. And finally, I'll highlight one more trend that our team has noticed in book sales. So Stats Canada recently revealed that millennials, so those are people currently aged 28 to 43, now outnumber boomers, so those aged 60 to 78 in Canada. According to BookNet's Canadian Book Consumer Survey, we know that book buyers aged 35 to 44, so older millennials and younger Gen Xers, bought the most print books in 2022. So this is interesting because this means that there are a lot of perimenopausal book buyers out there, and we're seeing significant increase in subjects like menopause, which increased by 32%, and aging, which increased by 70%. And women's health books increased by a whopping 185%. So we can see that book selling data is clearly reflecting demographic shifts within Canada. If you're interested in learning more about subject level insights like this, you might want to check out our recent Emerging Trends webinar. So you can find that on BookNet's YouTube channel. Okay, so now that we've talked about trends, let's talk about what was new for sales data and library data as features in 2023. So the first feature we're going to talk about is our brand new top 500 subjects toggle. And this is a toggle that can be found on our market share and market comp reports and sales data, as well as our trend analysis report in library data. So this is a really neat feature to have because instead of having to input specifically what individual subjects you're interested in comparing, this will allow you to pull a fuller list of the top performing subjects in bookstores and libraries. So it's a great place to start if you're not really sure what subjects are doing well and you want an overall view of growth increases in subjects over the past few years. The next feature I'm going to talk about is our inclusion of additional filters on the market share and market comp reports and sales data. So this will allow you to compare things over time with additional filters. So previously, for example, you could look at a publisher over time, but you couldn't filter that by a specific subject or format. So you can do that now in sales data. And we've added these types of filters across all the different versions of the market share and market comp reports we offer. So this feature is really great because it gives users the ability to narrow down their reports further than ever before. We also added ISBN counts to the market share and market comp reports. So something we kind of get asked quite often is whether sales growth is due to a growing number of ISBNs being published in a certain category, or if a single title has exploded in popularity and is therefore uplifting an entire genre. So since we added ISBN counts to these reports, users now have greater context for subject, format, and publisher level reporting. The last thing I'm going to mention here is that we've seen a ton of improvements in the overall speed and performance of the sales data and library data website due to some hardware improvements. So a lot of these changes affect our own internal workflow processes, such as our ability to process data at a faster pace. However, you may have also noticed that certain reports can now run through the website at much faster speed. For example, lifetime reports that took up to a minute or longer to pull in sales data now run within a few seconds or even instantly. So we've been very happy to hear back from some of our users who have seen that their own reports are running at much more rapid rates. So finally, I'm going to give you kind of a brief sneak peek into what's next on the roadmap for sales data and library data. And that's age range data. So this has been something that's been of interest, especially to those who publish a lot in the children's subject areas. And we'll be adding new display options across all our title level reports, where users can add columns for lower age, upper age, as well as audience data. And then further along down the roadmap, we aim to also update our search functionality to include those data points as search criteria and filtering as well. So at this point, we're very close to releasing this to the main site, I'm excited to say. So look for those new column display options in the coming weeks. Of course, we always have lots of interesting ideas in the can, and most of those ideas for how we can improve sales data and library data come from you, our users. So please do let us know what would make your life easier and what sort of data you really wish you had your hands on, and we will do our best to help you. Like all BookNet products, our future development is driven by stakeholder feedback, so please get in touch. We'd love to hear from you and how we can make your work in 2024 and beyond easier and more data-driven. If you have feedback or questions, please email us at data@booknetcanada.ca. You can also find us online at booknetcanada.ca as well as Facebook. We really would love to hear from you and hear your ideas for how we can continue improving these tools for the future. So thanks so much for watching and have a great day.